A lot of students, right, they have complicated the process of passing the NCLEX exam, right? The whole goal for you now is you want to take the NCLEX exam, right? The whole goal for you right now is you want to take the NCLEX exam and pass, right? You are watching this video right now. This is your goal. You want to take the NCLEX exam and pass, right? But I know I'm speaking to two people, right? One, someone that is either doing this exam for the first time, or somebody that is retaking it, right? But you that you are doing it for the first time and you that you are retaking it, your goal is to what? Pass the exam. Now let me explain something real quick so that what I want to explain we give you a perfect understanding of what I will say next. Now when you are thinking of, it's just like right now, many students, right, their whole goal is, oh, they need a good job or a good career, and they now think of what? Nursing, right? Because they want to get good life for themselves, right? They think about nursing, but the end goal of this good job after achieving becoming a nurse is you get to start making good money, right? But the process of needing the good job made you think about this process, which will give you the result. So this is the process. Now what will take you from year to year is if you accomplish this. Nursing involve what? Your nursing school and passing the NCLEX. If you achieve this, guess what? You become um a licensed nurse. So that's the process. Now um now when you are thinking of you want to make money, right? When you are thinking of you want to make money, right, the next thing that come to mind is you need to get a job. When you are thinking of you are sick, the next thing that come to mind is to go to the hospital, right? Let me just use this two example. When you are thinking of making money, you want to get a job. When you are sick, you want to go to the hospital, right? Everything in life, there's a process, right? The problem is not the process. Let me erase this and put it on the screen so that I want to make sure you understand where you got it all wrong. And now everything in life, there's a process and there's the difficulty, right? There's a process and there's a difficulty. The problem is not the process. The problem is the difficulty that you are facing when you are trying to go through that process, right? You all start with a problem. That problem naturally have a process, but in order to like um in order to solve this problem, you need to go through this process. But what is stopping some people from being successful in the process is the difficulty that they have. So the problem is not the process. It's just like now, let us say you want to travel from this location to this location, but you don't know how to go from here, right, all the way to this location. Now there's a process for people who don't know how, which is you just need to get a Google map, right, or map that you can follow that direction and then you find yourself here, right? You find yourself here. So many people, right, they want to travel from one country to another country, right? But the problem is they know that in order for them to move from this country to another country, they will likely like go through an airplane. But the problem is they cannot afford this. That's the difficulty. Right. You want to make money, you get a job. The problem is, can you easily get a job that will get you to start making money? Right. The problem is you are sick, you need the hospital. Do you have difficulty getting yourself to the hospital? Because you might be very weak, you might be very tired. Right. The difficulty might be you are so weak, you are so tired, you cannot even go to the hospital yourself. Now, your solution will not be, okay, you need somebody to what? Take you to the hospital, making money, getting the job. Your solution will not be, okay, if you get a good job, you end up what? Making money. Right. Your problem here is you want to travel from this country to this country, you need this, you cannot afford this. The solution will be, if you can afford this, you'll be able to go to that particular country. So in summary, there's always a process and the difficulty. Now, when you are trying to pass the NCLEX exam, right? When you're trying to pass the NCLEX exam, let me never talk about NCLEX exam. Let me give you what you are used to in nursing school. Let us say this is your lecturer, and your lecturer is now like, oh, students, we have an exam tomorrow. Guess what? What are you going to do today? Since your exam is tomorrow, what are you going to do today? Now, if you are thinking like me, what I'm going to do today is to read. So, why are you reading in the first place? Because you want to pass that exam. So now, why is it that for the past 2 years, I have been coaching students on how to pass the NCLEX exam, and anytime I ask most nursing students, what do you think you need in order to pass the NCLEX exam? Nobody is saying they need to read. A lot of students is saying, coach, at this point, I don't know. Maybe it's the program, maybe it's the this, maybe it's the that, maybe it's the. This is just the simple answer that I'm expecting from you. I need to read. This is the process of passing the exam. Now, this process, right? A lot of students now have difficulty in that process. Right. Your difficulty might be maybe you are unable to retain information. Your difficulty might be you don't even know what to read, the content. Your difficulty might be maybe you don't understand what you are reading. There's always a difficulty. Your difficulty might be maybe you don't even have time to read what you need to read. Maybe your work is like overpowering you, family activity is overpowering you. There's something that is stopping you from carrying out this process that lead you to achieving passing that exam. Same thing, because we have different exam. So when it's the NCLEX exam, it's the same thinking as well too. In order to pass the NCLEX exam, right? Remember, if you are sick, right, you need the hospital. In order to pass the NCLEX exam, right, you need to read. So this right here, they are the process. Now, the real question you should be asking yourself is, what difficulty are you now facing? I've listed few. Right. What difficulty are you facing? Because your difficulty, right, obviously is either something you can fix by yourself or something that somebody needs to fix for you. Now, if you notice that you failed the exam multiple times, it means that you can no more fix that problem yourself. Right? Somebody have to fix that problem for you. Now, let me tell you another thing. Now, let's say you want to pass the NCLEX exam, right? And then you ask somebody, right, who have passed the NCLEX exam, right? They are going to give you like they are going to give you the answer, because you ask, oh, what do you use to pass the exam? They are going to give you the what they used to pass the exam. Now, let us say I want to tell you the problem with this, because many students will say, oh, I have a friend who have passed the exam, I asked her how to pass the exam and she recommended this, I used this, and so happen. Now I want to tell you the problem. Let us say you want to make money, right, and you ask somebody, right, that, oh, I want to make money, and then this person started saying, oh, I have worked as a nurse, right, I've worked as a banker, anyone, either nurse, a banker, a doctor, whichever, right? Now, this answer that this person provided to you, how does this help your situation of making money? Because the problem now is, yes, if you end up working as a nurse, you get to make money, banker, you get to make money, a doctor, you get to make money, but do you have what it takes to become that nurse? Do you have what it takes to become a banker? Do you have what it takes to become a doctor? So the problem is not the option that this person is providing, right? The problem is that she's providing what she has done and was successful for her. Instead, she's not considering what you can do that will be successful for you at the moment. Because guess what? A lot of people get to feel your frustration, your pain, and they tell you the solution that work for them. Instead of trying to feel your frustration and pain and trying to see why is it that the general solution is not working for you, because we have a general solution which is to read in order to pass the exam. So why is it that the reading part of passing the exam is not working for you? That way, once I know what is the problem related to that general process, then I'll be able to help you out. It's just like a doctor. Because if right now you want to make money and I'm telling you nurse, banker, doctor, you might not even have the educational background to work as a nurse, banker, doctor. So even if I'm giving you this option and you go to maybe a particular hospital to ask for to work as a nurse there, you'll be disappointed, because once you go there, they will say, oh, you don't have a license, you need a license to work as a nurse, you need this educational background to work as a banker, you need a license to work as a doctor, right? So that's the main reason why, even if you have somebody who have passed the exam, whether the person passed the exam in 85 question, even if they recommend a question bank or a particular program to you and you use that program, that will not make you pass. It can still make you fail, because the problem is not what she recommended, or the solution is not what she recommended. The problem is what you don't know about yourself that is making you to fail. Let me give you another example. What I'm trying to make you believe in a particular process of passing the exam, so that you don't complicate. A lot of students have complicated the aspect of studying for the NCLEX exam. They barely can even sleep at night, because when they are waking up, the next thing in their head is, oh, I have not yet passed the NCLEX, I am still struggling, right? It's like a bleeding neck that they need solution to. Like, they cannot wake up to start, they cannot wake up and start and feel good throughout that day, because they are still failing the NCLEX. Everybody are still like, oh, you've not yet passed the NCLEX, right? Now, let us put two question bank program, because when I ask many students, um let's say this is a question bank program 1, question bank program 1, question bank program 2. Now, when I ask many students, what have you been using to study? We say, oh, I use a particular question bank, I use another question bank, but I still fail. Now, we are going to explain this. Now, let us say this is England, and this is the US, right? Now, the problem when you are trying to use two question bank program is that you are still failing based on a particular problem that you don't know, right? But the problem is you have difficulty passing, right? Now, I'm trying to explain two things here. Let us say you have a chronic condition. Let us say you have a chronic condition, hypertension, and you are like, oh, the reason why you have the hypertension is because you are in the UK. If you travel from the UK to the US, since you are no more right in this particular country, England, guess what? You will not have the hypertension again. Trust me, you are deceiving yourself, because even if you leave England to the US, the hypertension will follow you to the US. You are still going to have the hypertension. Now, when you are trying to change one question bank to another question bank, you are deceiving yourself, because the problem that is making you use this question bank, that is stopping you from passing, you don't know the problem. So you still take that same problem to this question bank. The problem is still there, but it's just a different environment. Same way, the hypertension is still there, it's just a different environment. So the problem is still there. If even if you keep changing environment from US to Canada, right, the problem is still there. So even if you get question bank 1, question bank 2, question bank 3, like I see many students who fail the exam and they mention big names of people who put students through on how to pass the exam. Many students will mention, I use simple nursing, I use Marquet, I use Rima, I use Nexus nursing. So you use all these 4 different powerful programs and you still end up failing the exam, and you think it's the program that's making you fail. No, there are some certain things that is making you fail. That's the reason why you are still failing the exam. It's you cannot, if you don't fix that problem, you will keep changing program, you will still fail. So passing the exam, one problem that you are still making now, or mistake you are still making, is believing because someone passed the exam, right, and they tell you what to do, like the program to get, you will end up passing the exam. No, you might not end up passing the exam, because the reason why you are unable to achieve something, there's always a problem. Like the difficulty, there's always the difficulty, because as I said, everything all come from a problem, the process to fix it, and the difficulty, right? So every problem have a process of fixing it. Now it's just the difficulty that you have. So what's the problem? You want to pass the NCLEX exam. What is the process to read? The difficulty is you having problem related to reading, and I listed few, right, related to reading. Either you're unable to retain information, you have difficulty even knowing what content to read, or maybe you even know the content but you are overwhelmed with everything, you don't even know how to put everything together, you don't understand it, right? You like, there's always a problem why you are not able to achieve this, because if you can achieve this, you easily would pass the exam, right? You easily will pass the exam, right? Now let me walk you through my process. I've been coaching for the past 2 years, and since I know that the process is, you want to pass the NCLEX exam, all you need is to read. I looked into the reason why a lot of students are unable to achieve this, because the moment you achieve this, you have the ability to pass. And I noticed that, one, you need to have a process. Now, what is the process of passing the NCLEX exam? NCLEX is like a new word. It's not like nursing school. Regardless, even if you spend 2 years, 3 years, 4 years in nursing school, don't give you the ability to understand the NCLEX environment. The NCLEX environment is a different thing. I'm telling you, I've seen students who knew all the content that NCLEX will test, and they still end up failing the exam. Not because they don't know the content, but because the NCLEX environment was a different thing entirely. Now, one, you need to know nursing school exam is different from the NCLEX exam. So the same content you've done in nursing school is still the same content NCLEX will test. But guess what? They will be written in a different format, and it's not something that should be difficult if you understand the NCLEX. The only difference between nursing school question and NCLEX question is nursing school question is written for you to retain knowledge. Like, every question is crafted in a way that they want to see if you are retaining knowledge. But NCLEX question don't want you to retain knowledge, because that is not the goal of NCLEX. The goal of nursing school is to give you every information that you need in order to pass the NCLEX exam. or every information that you need in order to become a nurse. But NCLEX is not trying to give you information. NCLEX is trying to test those information. And not only testing those information, but NCLEX want to test those information for you to carry out in a particular care. So the exam is only testing retaining. Nursing school exam is testing retaining. NCLEX exam is testing care. So the moment you understand that NCLEX write their question in form of care and nursing school write their question in form of retaining knowledge, guess what? You will be able to understand the thinking process. Then you will know that it's not about saying 1 plus 1 is equals to 2. It's about explaining why 1 plus 1 is equals to 2. Right? It's more of the critical thinking behind something. That is what NCLEX is all about. And more of safety. So it's more of critical thinking and more of safety. So that is what the NCLEX is all about. So NCLEX is trying to put you in form of two care, which is the physiological aspect of the client and the ethical aspect of the client. So the physiological aspect of the client, you are making sure the client is stable. The ethical aspect, you are trying to like make sure that you are fulfilling that aspect as well. So those are the two type of care you will see on the NCLEX exam. Right. So now that is one problem. So in order to fix that problem, because NCLEX is a different word entirely. In order to fix that problem, so I created this formula. There are two formula, but I'll plug them in now. Right? It's three. Right? One, you want to understand the NCLEX. Understand the NCLEX. That's the first thing. Right? Now, the next thing, you now want to create a plan related to that understanding. So now if you understand that the NCLEX write question in form of care, so how do you now start getting related question or learning how the NCLEX write the question in form of care? The NCLEX test specific content. NCLEX don't want to test you on everything you've done in nursing school. So that's the reason why the NCLEX created a particular document, right, that only give you what they want you to know for the exam. Most students don't even know that there's a document that NCLEX created that only that listed everything they want you to know. So it's not only the writing style, it's also the content you want to know. All this you get it from the understanding of the NCLEX, right? So you get to understand it and you're like, oh, okay, this is the understanding. Okay, this is what I need to know, right? Related to the question, right? NCLEX have three parts to every question. We have the body of the question, which give you the information of what you are going to do. It's just like now, NCLEX want to see if you are fit to work in the hospital settings. So the body of the question is something related to the hospital that you will start thinking of it and say, okay, if situation like this is happening in the hospital, what will I likely do? So the body of the question is making you think, what will I likely do? Now, the second part of every NCLEX question is the STEM. This is not the examiner question that I say, okay, now that you have that you now understand the body of the question, which is the information related to something related to hospital care. Now you've understood that. Now let us ask you a question based on that your understanding. So the STEM is like a question asked related to the body of the question, and then your answer is what we call the answer key. So this is the third part, which we call the answer keys. Right. And now NCLEX have a special way of writing answer key that no exam, right, like your nursing school exam don't write answers like that. You see, there are a lot of things you don't know about the NCLEX, but the only thing you know is you want to get a question bank program, whereas you don't know all these things that I'm saying right now. So how do you go on the NCLEX exam and be able to pass successfully? Even if some people have passed and you were better than those people that passed, right? Let me tell you something. It's just like going to a casino, going to like play a casino, right? That is gambling, something like that. Guess what? You will see people that will win, you will see people that will lose. It's not because you did not come with the best strategy, but you were not lucky. So there are some people, they will go on the exam, they don't know all these things, but they will still pass. So don't think about the fact that they went on the exam, they still end up passing, so why are you failing? The problem is you need the right thing to pass. That is that but you lack that right thing to pass. So that's the problem. So now the moment you know the right thing, because obviously if you want to go by luck, right? You've tried taking the NCLEX exam the first time, you fail. Second time, you fail. Third time, you fail, right? Which maybe someone you know that don't know all this information end up passing the exam just one time. That person is lucky because they understood the process directly from the when they were taking the exam without no issue, and that was it for them. But it's not the same for you. That's the reason why you don't need to keep going in a path now that you have been going before, and it's making you to fail. So let us change the process now and learn this thing about the NCLEX, so that you are guaranteed that once you go on the exam now, you have the ability to pass now. Like, you have the ability to pass now. No, there's nothing holding you back. Right. There are a lot of things you need to know, but once you know those things, that's how you create your plan. Now, once you are able to create your plan, now you want to execute the plan, which is the aspect of now you trying to study. Right. So this is the three things that you need to start with. Understand the NCLEX plan, study. Now, when you are trying to study, because you cannot have a good plan, understand the NCLEX and don't study effectively, right? But there's a format at which you want to use to study when you are trying to study. If you want to be among those 700 students I have coached to pass the NCLEX exam successfully, 80% of this number were students who have repeated the exam multiple times. So far so good. I've been able to craft something when it comes to studying. I've been using it for the past 2 years. Every student who passed the NCLEX exam in its 5 questions, this is what I do, right? I call it the CWU. This is the content. This is right. I call this right, and I call this understand. Right. One, you want to know the content. Now, because it's just like if you are going to take a nursing school exam and the NCLEX exam, and the content is hypertension now, right? The way nursing school will write question related to hypertension is different from the way NCLEX will write nursing school question, related to hypertension. So nursing school can test question to see if you are retaining information related to hypertension, but NCLEX will put you in a particular aspect of caring for a client with hypertension, right? Is that they want to test your critical thinking or you being a safe nurse. That's the way NCLEX will write their own question. So you don't just want to know the content, because if you know the content and your mindset is still fixed in the way nursing school write their question, you will have difficulty on the exam. So we don't just want to know the content, we want to know how the NCLEX write the question related to that content. That is the second part, knowing how the NCLEX write the question related to the content. Now, the moment we know how the NCLEX write the question related to the content, now the last part is now creating perfect understanding. Because knowing how the NCLEX write the question related to content is not enough if you lack the perfect understanding. And there are many things that we plug in to make you understand. One, you need to understand the answers, because there are some certain signal the answer sends to you that you need to be able to interpret. Because this is nursing care, everything in on the NCLEX question send a particular signal, but a lot of students don't see the signal, because the whole process of nursing school is to read your question, try to remember what you are studying in your notes, and select your answer. But NCLEX is not that. NCLEX make it so difficult that even if you remember what you've studied in your notes, you will not see the answer on the question. You need to be able to critically think in order to bring out the answer, right? Because you can see a particular NCLEX question and try to remember, oh, what did I study about this content? And you will remember what you've studied, but you will not sit in the question until you critically think and you're like, oh, this is it. Oh, this is the idea. So what is that idea that when you see a particular question, you have this idea, it just come to your head and you are like, oh, this is definitely the answer. That is what I'm going to help you with. The understanding, right, to every answers and to every question. Even when you know the content and you are lost, you don't even know what the question is all about, right? Because you might know the content, understand the writing style, but you still don't understand what it's all about, because the answer is not like plain, it's not straight and something like that. I'm going to give you the understanding. So there are a lot of things that we plug right here when it comes to the understanding part that we used to help students in order to pass the exam successfully. There are a lot of things that we plug right here. The moment we can do this for you, or I do this for you, because I do it alone, right? Once I can do this for you, I can 100% guarantee you, you will pass the exam. Right, you will 100% pass the exam. If I do this for you, right, there are things I need from you. One, can you read? Because I will tell you the problem that will make my system not work for you. One, can you read? If you say yes, you can read. Two, hope you don't have anything distracting you that will make you not to read. Right, if nothing is distracting you, it's not a problem. Right. Do you believe that if I explain something to you in a perfect way, you'll be able to understand it? Right. If definitely you believe you'll be able to understand it, good. Right. So, are you committed? One, can you read? Now, two, no distraction. Right. You don't have any distractions. If I explain to you, would you be able to understand things? Like, do you believe if I explain something in a perfect way that you want, you'll be able to understand it? Four, are you committed? Right, to what you are doing? Are you committed? So can you read, no distraction, explain things to you, you'll be able to understand it the way you want to? Are you committed? Right, right. And this is the last one I need from you. Just be consistent. Right, if all these things you answer yes to it, that you can do this, then you have the ability to pass the exam. And I will give you one guarantee now. If we go through this process and you don't pass the exam, I'm going to refund you your money that you paid to me to coach you. I'm going to refund you your money. I believe so much in my process that even a particular student from the who did not study in the US, she's from Philippines, she failed the NCLEX exam 14 times. Right, she joined my coaching program and she passed on her 15 attempt. Right, that is how I so much believe in this process. Not only that, I was able to help a particular student who stopped nursing, like who finished, like she finished nursing school 10 years back. Right, not even 10 years back. Let me explain the story. Right, when she was done with nursing school, right, she took the NCLEX exam, she failed 7 times. Now she gave up for 10 years. When her sister passed the NCLEX exam using my coaching program, her sister referred me to her, and she like used me after 10 years, and she passed on her very next attempt. Right, so I imagine after failing 7 times, a lot of things have changed related to the NCLEX for the past 10 years. But she did not have to like do extra activity. She was just able to do exactly what I have been showing you so far so good, and she was able to pass on her 8th attempt. Right. So the process is definitely going to work. 100%. I believe in it. Right. Now, in my coaching program is a 60 days coaching program, right, whereby I walk you through everything you need to know related to the NCLEX exam. Is it prioritization? Is it management of care? Is the infection control, safety and infection control, reduction of risk, physiological adaptation? As you know, that's your med-surg. Right, is it pharmacology you struggle with? Is it case studies? Is it bow tie question? Is it chart question? Every next generation NCLEX question. Right, you struggle with mental health, maternity, pediatric, everything? Do you have difficulty answering questions? Like everything, you're going to get it in my coaching program. Right, I'm going to walk you every day. We are doing something every day. Right, and I'll walk you through. Like I have the plan. Right, all you just need to do is to follow the plan. The plan is for 60. Like I have the plan all set up. All you just need to do is to follow the plan. Right, so the little investment you are investing in yourself in order to have this dream career, right, changing your current situation from someone who is confused to somebody who is now a licensed nurse. If this is what for yourself, if this is what you want for yourself, you just need to invest this in order to achieve that transformation, which is $497. Right, and also I don't want it to be like the price is the one stopping you from getting this amazing opportunity. That's why I'm also going to give you a payment plan. If you're unable to pay this once, right, you can put a down payment of $250 and tell me when you'll be making the next payment. And yeah, I will enroll you in. The whole goal is for you to pass the exam successfully, and you don't have to think about this ever again. Right. So yes, that is the whole thing. So if this is what you want for yourself right now, I know you're asking me, how can you reach out to me in order to join my coaching program? Right. You can reach out to me by either sending me a message via iMessage or WhatsApp through this number +1 767 613 0769. So you can text me via iMessage, right, or you can WhatsApp me. So if you're using an iPhone, iMessage me or WhatsApp me from your iPhone, anyone you want. And if you are on WhatsApp, you can send me a text on WhatsApp, right? So yeah, like I repeat, the guarantee is if you go through this process, you end up failing the NCLEX exam, right? Definitely, I will refund you because you will pass. I am 100% sure if you will definitely pass, right? You definitely pass. And even if you go through the process and you feel like, oh no, this is not something that you want, just ask for a refund and I will definitely refund you. But I'm 100% sure once you get into the coaching program, you will enjoy it. You will definitely be able to pass the exam successfully. That I'm 100% sure. So take advantage of this opportunity and move yourself from the difficult situation you are right now to someone who's going to walk out of the exam center as a licensed nurse. So with that being said, I'm going to see you in the next one.